What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Fantastic Four, The First Steps. It's the newest Fantastic Four movie and the latest in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is going to be a spoiler-free review for Fantastic Four, The First Steps. So if you're looking for me to spoil things here, I'm not going to do that. Against the vibrant backdrop of a 1960s-inspired retro-futuristic world, Marvel's first family is forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond while defending Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and its enigmatic herald, Silver Surfer. I grew up with the 2000s Fantastic Four movies, and for what they were cheesy, they were of their time, but I wouldn't necessarily call them great movies. I don't have all that much nostalgia for them. I remember watching them when I was a little kid, and I haven't watched them, I don't think, since I was probably like 12. And then that 2015 one was just an all-time stinker. Going into this, I can understand some skepticism and caution that people will have going into a new Fantastic Four movie because they haven't really gotten it right. There's even a Fantastic Four movie from the 90s that went unreleased. They were canceling movies even back in the 90s before Zaslav wants tax write-offs. But I think it is fair to have skepticism about a new Fantastic Four movie when none of them have really blown us away, and especially where this movie has two villains that were in the 2007 Fantastic Four, the sequel to the 2005 one, Rise of the Silver Surfer, in Silver Surfer and Galactus. And they really did Galactus dirty in that movie by just making him a stupid cloud. I don't get that. This has Silver Surfer and Galactus in it, and I really enjoyed this movie. I think that this is one of Marvel's better ones, and it proves that maybe we're getting back on the consistent path with Marvel. I have enjoyed all the MCU movies to an extent, but I have finally come around to the fact that they haven't been as good as they used to be. Quantumania and Brave New World are definitely my two least favorite MCU movies. One's a Frankenstein of a movie, and then the other one just tries to be a comedy and tries to be too cosmic, and there's a lot of stupid stuff in it, but they're always saved by something. Like Quantumania is saved by Kang, and I think the last 45 minutes of Brave New World, the Tiamat action sequence and Red Hulk versus Cap, I think is really entertaining. But Thunderbolts, I think, really struck a chord with me and said, okay, if they can do this moving forward, I think they'll be in really good shape. And Fantastic Four keeps up that streak. It's actually really encouraging to know that 3 of their past 4 movies have actually been good to great. And Fantastic Four falls right into the middle of that. This movie is just snappy and full of energy. It's a quick moving movie. It lets you simmer and reflect on the emotional moments without undercutting them with a joke. And this isn't a very funny movie, and I was actually really happy about that. It actually let us spend some time with the family to get to know them, to get to know how Ben Grimm ticks as the Thing, to get to know how Johnny Storm ticks. But I think the real heart and soul of the movie is the dynamic between Reed Richards and Sue Storm, with Vanessa Kirby in particular being a massive standout. This movie would not work without Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. She is perfect for Sue Storm. It has a lot of family themes in it about sticking together as a family, and while it's building up its character relationships, you buy the fact that this is a tight-knit family, and it does it to the best of its ability, and I think better than any of the past iterations of Fantastic Four has. Everybody else across the board is really good. Pedro Pascal, the man is getting unwarranted hate online for some stupid reason because he's in everything now. I mean, what actor in their heyday isn't in everything? I mean, we were saying this about Jai Courtney about 10 years ago when he was in everything, but the difference is that Pedro Pascal is actually a good actor. Jai Courtney is not. I know that there was even skepticism even before all this recent chatter about him happened online that he wouldn't be a good fit for Reed Richards, but he won me over. He was really good in this movie. I thought that he was a really good Reed Richards. He's a great actor anyways. I really liked Joseph Quinn as Johnny and the Human Torch, but I think my favorite, even though I think Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm is the standout, I think my favorite might have been Eben Ross Bacharach as the Thing. And I really like the Thing in this. I really like how he's like, oh yeah, that whole clobbering time thing, that's just from a TV show. I'm more of a homebody. I like to stay at home and cook. That's my expertise here. And it did showcase how smart Reed Richards is. I feel like we haven't gotten a really smart Reed Richards yet in a live action Fantastic Four movie. This movie did it. I love the retro vibe and the futuristic vibe. It just felt like something that you would read in a book, like in a science, like if you read a book that came out, a science fiction book that came out in the 60s, and they were talking about this futuristic Earth. Even though this takes place in 1960, it did feel like those types of books that you would read where you imagine something like that. Take the movie Tomorrowland, a forgotten movie, but like something like that, and just make it a giant city. Like books like that, like when I read about the World's Fair, this is going to be a weird comparison, but like something like the World's Fair, I picture something futuristic like that with the World's Fair. And I think that they actually captured that really well. It felt so different to what's come before in the MCU. And the best part is, you don't have to watch 30 plus movies or 15 plus TV shows to understand what is going on in this movie. It stands on its own. It takes place on Earth 828, separate from the main MCU timeline, which I believe is 616, and separate from the Deadpool timeline, which is 100005, I believe. Nothing. You don't have to play catch up with anything. You're not doing extended homework. You're not sitting there for hours. Okay, I have to take notes on this show. I have to take notes on who this is. It's not like that. And thank God it wasn't. The visual effects for this movie I thought were actually really good compared to what we saw in the trailers. They really fixed those visual effects up. The CGI, I mean, obviously there's a little baby in this movie that's CGI. That's really the only thing that kind of bugged me with the visual effects, but Silver Surfer looks a lot better. Galactus looks really good. Everything involving CGI actually looked pretty good. Where it wasn't distracting, and I mean, I could tell where there were moments where it was CGI, but it was never distracting, never took me out of the movie like some others. It just felt like its own thing, and I'm glad that they actually kind of tip the scale back, even when they go cosmic in this movie. Because one of my complaints has been with the MCU has been that the cosmic side of things is so hard to differentiate what's what. And that was my biggest problem with Quantumania. I'm like, all this cosmic side of the MCU, it just feels the same to me. Like the quantum realm feels the same as Sakaar, the trash planet that Floor visits in Ragnarok, which feels the same as every planet in Guardians of the Galaxy, which feels the same as every planet in Captain Marvel. You see what I'm getting at? It doesn't feel like that with this movie. It feels like it had an actual vision behind it, actual style, and an actual visual look to it that made it unique. Galactus is awesome. He's not in the movie all that much, but I just thought that the actual threats of him coming to Earth was well established throughout the entire movie, and I felt the threat was there for the entire movie. He felt like a threatening menace. He felt like a threat that needed to be taken care of. It felt very high stakes. I haven't had that feeling for a while in the MCU. In terms of things that don't necessarily work, I did want to see more of Silver Surfer. I think everything that we saw of Silver Surfer was great. And don't let the internet tell you different just because it's a girl. Stop with that. I think there could have been ways to bring Silver Surfer back into the fold in the third act. There's this big emotional scene with her and Johnny towards the end of the second act where it was really ramping up. And that's what I'm talking about with the character development in this movie. They actually take the time to develop the characters, and that was one of the best scenes of the entire movie. And then for me, I was like, there's got to be some good payoff with Silver Surfer. And she comes back briefly, but not enough for me. And I didn't think that scene was so good that I wanted there to be a little bit of a payoff, in my eyes at least. I don't think anybody else will see it that way, but it just wasn't enough. I don't think there was enough of her in the last third of this movie. Also, I do think it was a little too easy how they took out Galactus. That's been a complaint I've seen, and I kind of agree. It felt like it was too convenient, a little too sloppy, but also too easy at the same time. That feels like a nitpick, but it is an actual complaint with the movie, and I do feel like that those are probably my two biggest complaints with the movie. It's not a very action-heavy movie, which I'm happy. There is some great action in this movie. There's a great chase through space between the Fantastic Four and the Silver Surfer, and I loved that. I loved all of that. I just love that it took the time to develop the characters and it had this familial theme. Galactus actually felt like he was a big threat that needed to be taken care of. I'm just curious how this is all going to play into Doomsday and where we go from here. And I think that that's kind of another thing that I have. It stands on its own, thank you. And I know it's supposed to, but how is this all going to tie together? I guess we'll find out in Doomsday. I guess that's the whole point. But I just needed a little bit of more Silver Surfer in the end, and I just wish that there was a more, not as convenient way to destroy Galactus. It's a smart way, sometimes a bit sloppy, and it just feels too quick and too easy. I'm not going to say Fantastic Four First Steps is a fantastic movie, but it is damn near close to being a fantastic movie, and I really enjoyed the Fantastic Four First Steps with a full bucket of popcorn. So that is my spoiler-free review of Fantastic Four First Steps. Stay tuned for my spoiler-filled review coming very soon. If you have seen the movie, let me know what you think of it in the comments below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.